Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents Masters of the Universe Tuesday. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you with the Masters of the Universe Masterverse Masters of the Universe movie, Skeletor. Let's get into it! Let's start things off with a look at the packaging. And there I go bumping the camera, because of course, it's not a Digital Caveman review without some camera bumping. Oop. Here at the top, 30 points of articulation, a barcode, and a hook. Masterverse, and that nice cracky scrolly Masterverse packaging that we have grown accustomed to. Nice big window on the front showcasing the figure and his accessories. 6 and up. Nothing on that side. Masters of the Universe Skeletor. Mattel. On the bottom. Symbols I'm not going to learn. The question mark. A barcode. And small fine legalese and made in Vietnam print. Along with MattelShop.com. And whatever that number is. On this side, Skeletor, evil tyrant of Eternia. On this side, nice artwork of Skeletor. From the Masters of the Universe movie, I'm going to say concept artwork because I think there's some rights issues with using the actual likenesses from the movie. But I will have to say that skull still looks like Frank Langella as Skeletor. Then on the back here we have some nice artwork of Skeletor. And let's see what it says about him. Skeletor, evil tyrant of Eternia. The nefarious sorcerer finally conquered Eternia. He made the mighty sorceress his prisoner. The secrets of Castle Grayskull were his for the taking, but for one nuisance, He-Man. Though his foe evaded capture using the cosmic key, Skeletor hunts him down, so he may absorb all the power of the cosmos and declare himself the master of the universe. Then here we have the cross sale. Also available, each sold separately, subject to availability, colors, and decoration may vary. So we have Movie He-Man, Revelation Evelyn as a Sorceress, Princess of Power Frosta, Revelation Roboto, and New Eternia Stratos. Mattel empowering the next generation through play. That, my friends, is a look at the packaging. Let's take a look at the figure and his accessories. And here we have handy dandy tweezers. We'll start off with the smallest bits, which are his extra hands. And as you can see, it is a fist, and it has these nice paint apps on the back. And then it does have what appears to be a little skull there. I'm not sure if you can really see it on camera, but it's a little skull, it looks like to me. And silver paint app and under here as well. This may be reused from another Masterverse figure, and then they just retooled it with the skulls on the fingertips. I'm not sure, but a possibility. And same with this one. And what's a Skeletor without a Beastman slap hand? And again, that nice silver paint app on the back of the hands, and then the skull fingertips with that silver paint app, so very nice looking. Then here we have the cosmic key with some nice paint apps on it. Calling Tom Paris. For those of you who don't get that joke, you have to watch Star Trek Voyager, and then you have to watch the Masters of the Universe movie from 1987. So we've got a paint app here, and I want to, hell, it may be all paint apps. I cannot tell. Well, the strap here is molded in color, but the rest of it I'm not too sure about, and there may even be a little bit of wash on this bottommost piece, but very nice looking. And here's Skeletor's power sword, which I guess for the movie they were going more on the original mythos where Skeletor had a sword of power and He-Man had a sword of power, and I guess Skeletor used the cosmic key, of course, to get into Grayskull, not the sword. But in the original mythos, those of you who didn't know, He-Man had half the sword, Skeletor had half the sword, and you had to join them together in order to get into Castle Grayskull. But it looks like it's molded in this silver plastic, because I can see embedded into it little like glittery silver flecks. And then so that must mean that all this down here is paint app. But very nice sculpted details. The little skull, the bat looking wings, the bat's feet curled up, and paint app here on the handle, and nice detail sculpted in here and on the pommel as well. That brings us to the Havoc staff, and of course, you know, you can't have a Havoc staff without the ram's head. And I have to say, that's very nice looking. This piece right here looks bent, so I may have to take some heat to that. But very nice details, even here on the back. Very cool looking. And then even the staff itself has these like spiky or rivet details in it, and then this point at the end, because if you remember in his first appearance in the movie, he's walking down the gangway at Castle Grayskull, and he's really thudding this into the floor when he takes a step. Thud, thud, thud. Well, let's take a look at the figure himself, and look at that face sculpt. It just screams Frank Langella in a skeleton mask. And I mean, it looks really good. In fact, I mean, the whole figure just is super detailed, and it does seem to have a good bit of paint apps on it. The eyes there for Skeletor. Look at those eyes. And like the armor pieces, paint apps and sculpted detail. The belt here kind of looks like a stylized Hordak. And then this overlay piece here, and even details there in the crotch piece, and the shin armor, the skulls here, and just, I mean, paint apps all over the place. And you know, they even put it on the back. It's going to be mostly covered up with this cape, and you got this nice little paint app here. So, very nice. Looking, like the way that the hood lays, even though it's a separate, this is separate, and then the cape is also a separate piece. Well, let's talk about his articulation. Let me adjust the camera just a little bit. He can't really look up. He can look down that far, which isn't much. He's got no chicken neck. There, you could say there's a little waggle in there. And you turn his head this far and this far. No full exorcist. At the shoulders, because of this armor piece and this cape piece here. He can only lift his arm up about that far. He can do a full 360-degree rotation. Now this armor piece does move a little bit, and if you look right up in here, you can see it's attached on some type of post on the front and the back. But nevertheless, this piece combined with this piece won't let him raise his arm up very high. He does have a cut here at the upper bicep for a full 360-degree rotation. Double hinged pinless elbow. I'll give you that much bend, and I'm going to tell you about the joints. All his elbows and his knees were all frozen, and heated them up in water. They came loose, except for this one, which was, I don't know if there was a spot of glue or if the plastic got overheated in shipping or what have you, but I actually had to take a hobby knife and very gently scrape away some extra bits there in order to unlock that elbow. So just be aware of that. 360-degree rotation at the wrist on an in and out hinge, and up and down hinge on the opposite side. Now there's a cut here where the chest and the abdomen meet, and it gives you plenty of hula in there. And then there is also a cut here at the waist, which gives you a full 360-degree rotation. And you know, you can get some rotation out of this chest cut, but it's not much. It won't go all the way around. Now at the hips, because of this overlay, you know, you can stretch it out a bit, but it only gives you about that much of the splits. Because the overlay kicks forward that far, kicks back that far. Double hinged pinless knee. Even though I unfroze him in some water, that one appears to be stuck again. So let's take a look at the other knee. And it will give you that much bend. And I think I forgot to say there was a thigh cut here, and that does give you a 360-degree rotation there. And then a boot cut that gives you another 360-degree rotation. And then at the ankles, tilts down that far, tilts up that far. Wow. And then a forward-facing pin for rocker. So Skeletor, you might be getting another hot water bath later, my friend. And there you go, my friends. There's a look at the figure and his accessories. It's time for my favorite part of a review, comparisons. And here we have the 1987 movie Skeletor next to the 1987 movie He-Man and the new Eternia Barbarian Skeletor. Here we have the 1987 movie Skeletor with the Revelation Skelegod and Revelation Skeletor. Here we have the 87 movie Skeletor with the Masterverse 40th Anniversary He-Man. And to see how he starts stacking up against other lines from the Marvel Legends series, we have making his cameo appearance, Stan the Man Lee. For our final set of comparisons, here's that 87 movie Skeletor next to G.I. Joe Classified Series' Hasbro Pulse exclusive Regal variant Cobra Commander, and from Star Wars The Black Series, the Archive Edition 501st Legion Clone Trooper. For final thoughts on the Masters of the Universe Masterverse 1987 Masters of the Universe movie Skeletor, I have to say this is a very detailed figure, and it does seem to have a lot of paint apps, and it has highly detailed accessories, at least with the Havoc staff, the sword, and the Cosmic Key. And the hands, of course, are also, I won't say highly detailed, but they do have some extra detail in them that normal Masters of the Universe hands do not. Downsides to this guy: almost all his joints, I say all, his elbows and his knees were froze up, with one elbow being really locked up that I actually had to use a hobby knife in order to get it to come loose. And very carefully, I might add, as to not overly damage the figure. One of the elbows being locked, it looks like the plastic was melted, or maybe there was a drop of glue, or I'm not exactly sure what it was, but it was fused. But the face sculpt, the detailing in the armor and the costume, and it's just a really good looking figure. And it's a good looking Skeletor. And I realize this may not be exactly what it looked like in the movie, as I believe there are some licensing issues involving the likenesses of the movie, the exact likenesses of the movie. I think this is more based on concept art, which for some reason isn't included under that rights dispute or what have you. But again, this is a really good looking figure. If you have any love for that 87 Masters of the Universe movie, then you will really enjoy this figure. If you've never seen the movie, then I suggest that you watch it. It is some really good 80s cheese. I will tell you this though, it was a movie made on the cheap. At least a lot of parts of it. Even though it wasn't all that cheap. In fact, the reason that Superman 4: The Quest for Peace, starring Christopher Reeves, went so poorly was because a lot of money that was earmarked for that movie did get funneled into Masters of the Universe. Because the people producing it thought that they actually were producing both of those films, and they thought the money would do better or be better spent on Masters of the Universe, as it would probably get a bigger return. And I think both of them kind of flopped at the box office, if I remember correctly. But that does it for the review. I hope that you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view that I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very, very much for supporting this channel through viewing. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you'd like to see more reviews, or just help the channel out further, or both, that's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. That's a wrap, folks. I'll see you next time.